She who thrives. Phoenix rising. The true me. The ups and downs crazy in life. So take this journey with me. She who thrives. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good morning, sunshines. And welcome to She Who Thrives, a podcast about embracing the grind of life while learning to shine through it all. I'm your host, Janell Borrero. And before we begin, I want to ask you to please subscribe, follow, and rate and review. I really appreciate your love and support. Now, I want to welcome you, a special guest. Special to me, she is my assistant. She is been with me through so many things. Been an entrepreneur for 7 years, and I think she's been with me half of those. So she's been on the ride with me for so many things. Welcome, Desiree Nieves. Yay! You'll hear me calling her Desi, so you'll hear that name. But thank you for coming in. Well, you had no choice.
I had no choice. I'm with you all the time.
So you had no choice with it. But today we are going to be talking about everything, just with the business, you going along with the ride. Also, you wanting to be, at one point you wanted to do your own business and you dabbled in that as well. And being a makeup enthusiastic and being in that world. But yeah, we're gonna go through the different journeys that we've gone through together.
A roller coaster.
The roller coaster, the ride. So some people may or may not know, I wrote a book called Loving a Bipolar Bear, and she see me write it. She see me cry through it. She see me want to throw the book across the room. She see
every emotion you can think of. It was just happy, sad, mad.
Yeah. So you know how some people say, "Oh, she's my backbone." I think it's more than that. I think she's that disc in between there. That is, if it bulges out, I'm in pain. That's basically what she is. So
what triggers your sciatica, basically.
So yeah, this is something that we do on Monday mornings. I think we really gather.
Yeah, Mondays it's like our day. Okay, what is our plan? What is our goal? And then Mondays we don't like to be there anyway.
I mean, we don't like to be at work, but we still be at work. But we have to catch up with everything that happens. Although today's Thursday, so we're gonna act like it's one of our little Monday madness type thing, and then we're just gonna talk about.
We just got back from our weekend.
Yeah,
and we're catching up, even though I see you on weekends, some weekends.
Yeah. Well, I have to just let you know. I have to kick her out sometimes, and I have to tell her go find some friends and leave me alone.
That's hard. She only lives 10 minutes away from me.
So I always say on my podcast and the pilot and everything else, I always say there's a lot of things that I do in my life, and I really pay attention to who looks up to me and what I would want them to do if they were in this scenario. And she's one of them. She's one that I say, okay, what is the advice that I would give her? So it's easy for us to give other people advice, but it's hard for us to go give ourselves that advice and follow through. So she holds me accountable for a lot of things, and she does call me out on my shit too if I'm not doing what I'm preaching. So
yeah. I think it was like the other day. I was just like, ma'am, but you told me.
And like, we talk about it with professional life. We talk about personal life. We talk about everything.
Yeah.
So it's been a journey, especially starting from. She started with me when
I was 17.
Were you 17?
I was like 18, I think 18 or 19 when I started with you. We were in a little office.
We were in a really tiny office.
That was very tiny.
Yeah, and we
my
moved
desk
on
in the
up.
corner and your big desk, and now we got a 3-room office.
Yeah,
room.
Yeah, and I have to stay in a different office than her because then we just talk a lot about everything in life. But
I still roll to your office, so I mean.
Yeah, she goes on her rolling chair and just rolls to my office. So she has seen me evolve with a lot of stuff. And sad to say, but she can. I don't want to say she's a punching bag because she's not, but she tends to get the brunt of a lot of my attitudes.
Yeah,
But
and I'll tell her like the attitude was not needed, and you'll just be like,
or she gets mad at me and then she walks away. She won't talk to me, or she'll
I'll
give me an
cry.
attitude.
I get overwhelmed.
Yeah,
I'm a crybaby. It's the Pisces thing in me. It's just I'm a crybaby.
So she's gone through a lot. So right now she's not doing anything in the entrepreneur world herself, but she is
Just
my
here
right
and there.
hand woman in my entrepreneurial journey. So she comes along with me with everything, with all my client meetings,
Photo shoots, anything like
photo shoots,
as long as it's done before 5.
Yeah, but sometimes we go beyond 5,
Yeah.
and then I just have to go pick up her son from daycare with her. So, but he is also my godchild, so he likes it when
Nina
we
comes
both and pick him up and stuff.
It's
so
her car. He likes her car. That's what it is.
No, he likes me too. I don't act like a child like he does, and that's what he likes, but I think I'm just too old for that.
You won't flip him upside down. It's okay.
So, yeah, with the journey, I think the hardest journey, well, I don't know. What has been the hardest journey for you
Like
in this
with
process
you,
with me? Yeah.
I think the hardest was the divorce. I think that like took a toll like on you, but also me, because it was just like I had to go through it with you as well. And just like seeing like your energy like shift. And it's especially because we know like what the steps were before that and like the trying and stuff. So when it came
Do you
to
want to
an
explain the
end,
steps though? Because
I
not
mean,
everybody knows.
I don't know. Did you want me to?
You can, because
So,
you're saying it from your perspective. It's
well,
not
from my
mine.
perspective, it was just more like, you know, you put in your effort and you were trying. And then to see it all just like kind of crumble when you were finally at your vulnerable state, it was like hard because like, you know, I was like your encouragement, like, yeah, do that, you know, just see how it goes. And I feel like that's what you do with me too in life. Like, see how it goes. What's the worst? You fail. Okay. And I feel like that failure, which is not even a failure because it's a win at the end of the day, but like in that time, it felt like a failure. It was just like a WTF moment. So like seeing how you were and just seeing like one day you'll just be like angry and then the next day you'll just be crying and then you'll be like, you know what, I'm a boss ass bitch.
I think I went through the 5 stages of grief all in one day, multiple times.
And then it was like, I'm gonna just give up. And I'm like, bitch, you want me to work at Apple or something? Like, I can't find no good job like yours. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I have good benefits here.
So she's talking about how at one point when going through the divorce, I just didn't have the
Like,
motivation
motivation.
to run the business anymore. Like, it was to a point of wanting to give up because what was the point of anything anymore? I didn't have kids. I'm in my 40s. I didn't have any kids. Now I don't have a husband. So it's like you have to restart all over again at 40. So it was like, what was the point? So when I told her that, and I have to be grateful, she did show up to my apartment and stood on the sofa, even if it was just
took
staying
a
on the
nap,
sofa.
but it's okay.
When I had to go through my stuff, and just out of anger or whatever it was, I just came out and said, I'm just gonna give everything up, everything that I worked hard for. And she just like,
I was like, ma'am, that look, ma'am, I can't find no 9 to 5 and I could pick up Abel whenever. Like, I can't do that. Like, I can't do that. With you, I can. And I could bring him to the office. So, like, it was very hard. I was just like, and then I was going through, like, my whole thing, too, but, like, probably months later of just moving out and everything. So that was, like, a whole toll of just you trying to guide me through that. So it was, like, I think we went through a lot in just 1 year. Both of us.
We did.
Like, it was just a lot. And just being there for each other was, like...
So we see each other 5 days a week.
Maybe sometimes 6.
Maybe sometimes 6 because we are on the weekends with each other too. But it's like those coworkers that become friends, but it's more we're family. than anything. So I could
She
say
knew
that
me since I was a baby, basically. So
yeah, so it's basically like a family-run business.
basically.
And yeah, she went through all of that with me, and I can never say enough thank yous because she knows that I've said thank you to her
Yeah.
so many times, and I'm grateful for a lot of the things that she has done. And that's one thing that I always tell her, like, what is it that you want to do out of life, like that's gonna bring you
It's
happiness?
so hard. I don't even know. Like, I feel like, I think I told you, like, I'm at a stage where I'm just like at a stance. It's just like, I think after the whole business thing of like doing the lashes and getting that discouragement from that one girl, like, I was just like, yeah, I don't want to
Do
do
you want to share
this.
that story? Share the story.
So so what happened was is I did some lashes and they came out beautiful. Like the lashes were great. And I did her and her friend. And I did her first and then I did her friend. So later on that night I received a message saying that she was having like a reaction. So I'm like, I was sitting and thinking like after it all,
Mm-hmm.
like if you had a reaction, you would have had a reaction while I was doing your friend's lashes, you know, like a reaction would have started to occur because I've had an irritation in my eye from lashes before and it's happened like after and it like obviously progresses. Um so that happened and I was like kind of scared to go to you about it and go to like Nana. I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know like how to handle this. So I ended up just giving her her refund.
And when I found out, I told her she should have
No,
never had done
no,
that.
but
But
then the bitch about it is she was in downtown with the lashes on. So
so she goes to the club or whatever it was that you guys were doing,
yeah,
and she runs past her, and the girl has these lashes
the
on that she
beautiful
got
lashes.
refunded. So I told her, "This is Janelle coming from the hood. You should have snatched
Dragged
those
her.
lashes off her eyelids." So,
But I did offer her like, hey, I'll do a free removal for you, and she
and
was
that's
just
what I had
like,
told you.
yeah.
Like the only time
She
you
just kept
refund anybody if you're gonna remove them.
continuing, like
Mm-hmm.
just harassing, like, no, I need a refund, and I was just like, but you know, under pressure, I'm not great, and I'm just like, I get overwhelmed, and I'm just like, whatever,
But
I don't care.
again, the overwhelmness
Yeah.
and all of that comes from
Childhood
childhood
trauma.
trauma.
We love it. Traumatized.
So it's, and one thing I tell every entrepreneur is that you're going to go through these hiccups where you're going to have criticism. I get criticism today, still today, and I get overwhelmed and it's like, ugh, I get so upset or whatever. But we're all going to have that.
I think even working with you, like, you'll just tell me to do something. You'll be like, figure it out. And I'm like,
Well, you work
I work
much
under
better
pressure.
under pressure.
But don't put me under pressure.
But you do much better. Your work comes out a whole lot better when I put that
I
pressure on
think
you.
the worst one was the audit that you were out of town for.
Yeah.
And you're like, figure it out. I'm like, I've never done an audit before. I cried. I cried
All it was
like
you
3
pulling
times.
reports that you knew how to report, that you knew how to pull.
No.
You didn't know how to pull those. You just
In
had
my
like
brain,
a
it was a
small
fart.
case of amnesia or
It was
something.
a brain fart. And I was just like, but you're not here to direct me
So
to
it's
do
like
this.
she tends to be very self-critical, which we all do.
I think I'm overly self-critical though. Like,
But it comes from childhood
yeah.
trauma. So when it comes to having a business, I think we have to really heal a lot of that childhood trauma because that does come to surface when you're dealing with clients. And if a client triggers you for something, then it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not good. And then your imposter syndrome comes in. It's like, I'm not good enough. They can go to somebody else or whatever.
Right.
So with that being said, childhood trauma, I would have to say, is probably one of your biggest challenges when it comes to, because I know you don't want to be my assistant for the rest of my life or rest of your life. I think, although I'm fun and we're doing some marvelous things.
We do fun stuff. Like our outings, they're fun. Even though it's just me and you.
I don't know. Do you really want to be my assistant for the rest of my life?
I mean, you don't want me to be your assistant for the rest of your life, obviously.
I'm sure you want to have more growth, though. I don't care. You could be my assistant for the rest of my life.
We're expanding, so it might be funner. Like, I'm going to do more things
We're
now.
expanding. We're rebranding. We're really focusing more in...
But I feel like I'm not like like there's times where I feel like I'm not your like assistant. Like I help you do decisions a lot of the time, or I'll help you with like things too, of like, okay, how do you
So
feel about
should we
this?
change your title? You're at your
Vice
admin.
president. You're president and vice president of the
So
business.
maybe that's what we have to do, guys. We gotta
Because I
change
feel like
Desi's
I help you
title.
like with a lot of stuff, and especially like now. I know
Well, I
with
pulled
our
you in as
rebranding.
backup because today she initially wasn't supposed to
I
be
was
here.
not. I was very anxious to be here.
So I pulled her in.
Well, I
So
was gonna be here, but not here in the
yeah,
seats
you
here.
were not gonna be on the spotlight having an interview with me. So you came to the rescue with a lot of things as
Per
usual.
usual.
So she plays a lot of roles. So but that's entrepreneurship. I had to play a lot of roles.
Yeah.
So then until I grabbed you, and then you play a lot of roles with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we're going to grab more people to put on our staff, and then, rebranding and all of that.
Because I know
So
you were like, I want you to be, in charge of speaking to all these people as well. And that was just like, at least I know these people. They're not
yeah.
random. Until the randoms come, I'll be like, look, honey.
So we had to get someone to like be able to have that I
Like
don't
a
want to
good
say structure, but
communication.
the
Like,
communication, but
yeah.
also the confidence to be able to speak.
Yeah.
So to be able to sell
I
whatever
feel
it is
like
that we're
too.
providing. You tend to be very shy.
But once it's like you just gotta feel out the vibe first and see.
Oh, but I can have an attitude quick, and I can put somebody in their
But
place
yeah,
very quickly. You don't know how to do that yet.
it's hard. I do it to some people,
Yeah,
but
you
it's
can do it
people
to
I
somebody.
know. Like, yeah, if I know you, like my mom and friends, like I'm gonna put you on the spot. I don't care.
Oh, you've been doing it with your mom a lot.
She hates me a little bit. I just know it's called trauma, and it's called older child syndrome, first child syndrome. I feel.
Well, I'm not a first child, but I think I probably go through some things.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably the
Yeah.
first girl, and I
So
still
it's
go
like,
through.
because like we were talking about earlier, girls get treated way differently than the boys.
But I don't know if that's just in a Hispanic household or if that's just like
I
that
don't know.
period. I don't know. It could be just a Hispanic household that they praise the boys much more.
Like
They
I
put
feel
them on a
like I had
pedestal.
a job at freaking 14. And then like
Yeah, but your brother's different. Your brother's situation is different.
he's a boy.
Yeah.
But it's just you got to I don't know. I feel like you just got to teach people to, learn independence a little bit. No matter what age.
You were very, very reliant on your mom for a
I
very long time.
was.
I think you still rely on her with
I
certain
do with
things.
some things because it's just like, okay, you're my mom. You can figure it out. Like, I don't care. Like, look, I do my own doctor's appointments and that's enough.
But it took you how many years? I think
even when I was pregnant, I was just to the point where I'm like, can you please do
And
this
how old
for
were
me?
you when you were pregnant?
20.
Yeah, and you still wanted her to do things.
It's just so much work. And then, pregnancy brain is a real thing. I was very airheaded.
I get that. I mean, I've never experienced it, but I think your generation is completely different from our
yours.
generation.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, Lord Jesus Christ, help you. Because I think
I think you tell me that all the time too. Like,
I think because our generation, and I don't know if it's because of where we grew up, because I grew up with your mom, that we had to think differently. We had to grow up a lot faster.
Yeah.
And then people my age that had kids, they wanted to have their kids have a different experience. So they babied. And to me, I say they hindered you guys.
Yeah, I feel like I was sheltered to an extent because, like, obviously I've gone through things and, like, have seen things that I shouldn't have seen growing up. But that was what I was exposed to as well. And being the older child, I feel like you're exposed to way more. So then it's like,
I think the older child is an experimental child.
We are. And I think that's why I don't want any more kids, because I'm just like, look, you're my little experiment 626. Like, stay here and stay little. But it's so hard. Like yesterday, he was like, Mommy, I'm growing up. And I was like, you're not allowed to grow up. I'm sorry. You're gonna be 4 forever.
Yeah, okay.
a whole lot of attitude for a 4-year-old. No, but I feel like she like sheltered us, but didn't in a way. Like, well, at least for me.
Explain that.
I feel like she exposed me to a lot,
Mm-hmm.
or I've seen a lot as well just watching like my older siblings, that step siblings, just watching them and seeing how they kind of acted, because they didn't really have that parental guidance either.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing how my mom attempted to be a parental figure to them, and it's like not really to us, like it was just a weird transition. I don't want to say names, but obviously the oldest brother, like her being more of like a mom to him, and then just like, I don't want to say the bare minimum, but the bare minimum to like me at least.
Mm-hmm.
And just like not having her there when I needed her, but her being there when they needed like her. And I feel
So
like
do you
it's
feel you
still
resented her for that?
um to an extent, yeah. I mean, there was a point in time where like I really did not like that woman. Like
Really?
I wrote her a letter stating why I didn't like her. I don't know if she remembers, but like I wrote her a letter. Like honestly, our relationship didn't like grow until I got pregnant. Like
I know for a little while you were being very rebellious.
oh yeah, I was real bad. I was sneaking out the house. Like, but the funniest thing is, she was like, "You would jump out of the second girl. I am not going to jump out of a 2-story building. I barely want to jump out of a 1-story building." I was like, but growing up with like strict parents, I would sneak down the stairs, find the cracks, avoid those cracks, go out the front door until like one of our neighbors had a camera and they caught me.
Okay, so whoever heard that, it's not for you to get any ideas.
Don't do it.
Especially if you're in your
Just don't.
teenage years. How old were you when you were doing that?
I was 16,
Oh
17.
yeah. We're not condoning this behavior.
But
We're just
also,
giving
it got
stories.
to the point of like me growing up and her trying to be like a strict parent with me, while I also seen like she wasn't that to like the other siblings. Like, why are you gonna be strict with me? Because I'm a girl, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I like sat and I told her, I was like, you need to let me make my own mistakes. Like, for real.
And how did that work out for you?
Well, pretty good, because you know what? I wasn't a teen mom. So,
You were pregnant at what? 19?
20.
Oh, you were pregnant at 20. So you
Yeah.
had them. It was right before your 21.
Yeah, my
Okay.
21st birthday, yeah. So, like, I think that was, like, even the biggest fear of, like, me getting pregnant and telling her. I was shitting bricks to tell her. We got back from the first doctor's appointment, and we were all just sitting in the sala silent. And she's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? And I'm just like, bitch, I'm pregnant. I don't know. I don't know if I want to keep it. I was just like so lost. I was just like, she's gonna beat my ass. And I still had the mentality of she's gonna beat my ass if I do like a fuck up.
Mm-hmm. Now? Is it now too?
Oh no, now I don't care.
Oh.
Like, girl, you live a whole hour away from me. I'll get in my car and leave. You gonna show up to my house and
your
what?
Location,
right.
So I know where I can leave to.
If I see you coming off on this road, I'm gonna leave to that road. Like, literally.
So you said you didn't think you wanted to keep it.
No, I really didn't. Well, him, because now it's a boy. But I really didn't. I honestly, like, when I brought it to her attention, I told her, like, I'm pregnant and I don't think I want to, like, keep this kid. Like, I don't know if it was the fear of, like, with her, or just the fear of, like, me growing up, like, and having to have a child, and just the fear of just the unknown, basically. And just like, okay, am I gonna be like her in like some ways? Because she's not the best person to speak to sometimes. She's very critical. She's very she it's like her way or no way kind of, and sometimes I know I told her the other day, there was a post that was like, when you call your parent to vent, but they piss you off more. I was like, you do that. I was like, all the time. It's like, fuck.
So what made you change your mind on keeping him?
My depression. Like, honestly, I knew if I were to not like have kept him, I would have like been in a major just depressed. And I knew too that she wasn't going to be one to like put up with me if I was depressed about it. So it would have been like an alone thing that I would have had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, damned if I do. Not damned if I do, because he's a great kid, you know? But at the moment, that's how I felt. Like, damned if I do, damned if I don't. And then also, like, obviously, me and his dad weren't on the best of terms when I found out either. So it was just, like, something that, like, took a toll, even during my pregnancy, of just being alone because she was an hour away from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt as if, like, I just got pawned off to just move in with his dad, too. Even though I would drive an hour to go stay at her house, it just wasn't the same. It was just like, okay, well, you have a child, you need to, you know,
Yeah,
skedaddle,
grow up.
Yeah. And it was just like, okay, well, like, I feel like the misconception a lot of people have of when you become a parent is just, especially just a mom, you just need to automatically have your motherly instincts and know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so then where does the term "it takes a village" come from?
So you felt like you were by yourself?
Oh, yeah. Especially the first year, I was freaking alone. Like, postpartum, dealing with a child that I was just like, what is this alien? Basically, like, this is a foreign object. I had Armani, so I'm dealing not only
Armani's her Yorkie.
Well, was my Yorkie. I no longer have access to him, but him, and then a baby, and then getting accused of just like, oh, well, you're home all day. Why didn't you cook? Why didn't you clean? Why didn't you do this? And I'm just like, I'm trying to freaking survive. I'm trying to remember to eat and feed our child. Like, I breastfed for a year and a half. And it's like, people fail to realize how much nutrients you need to put into your body to nurture a kid. So that was like a other hard thing. So it's just like so much. And then, you know, I would never want to be home. I would like, okay, we're going to go to the park. We're going to go to Target. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And it was just why are you always like out? Well, if I'm stuck between walls with a child that cries, I'm gonna freaking go insane.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows like the countless of times where I've sat in bed and just had the pew pew next to me.
What's the pew pew? Because not everybody's gonna know what a pew pew is.
I think they know. But like, I've had that next to me, and like, you know, I was just ready to just end it all. Yeah, like, obviously it's not the first time, but that was like one of the times of feeling like that, and just like not having anybody to really go to, because, you know, at that time I had friends, but they weren't pregnant. They were living their own life. They were clubbing. They were having fun. So it's just like, it takes a toll.
Do you think having him made you grow up a lot faster though?
I feel like since young, I've always been told that I was mature for my age, which that leads back to trauma. I do feel like it made me mature a lot more though, and made me like realize how I want to parent. Though gentle parenting is hard, I be wanting to knock his. He has my attitude.
You want to just pet him nicely.
No, I want to throw him. He likes to be thrown though. Like, I'll grab grab him and throw him on the.
But friendly. Sometimes.
But no, I mean, for the most part, he's a good kid. People who say they don't like kids love him.
Yeah.
Because I never babied him. It's just more like okay, well, you
talk to him like he's a little adult.
Yeah, it's like,
so
he
tends to keep up with conversations that maybe he shouldn't be in sometimes. But you do mother him as if he's a little adult, but you do
Mm-hmm.
it in a gentle way. And I think sometimes when we all look from the outside in, seeing how you are with him, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, that she's doing it so good. Um,
And sometimes I feel like I'm not. Like,
but I don't think parenting, there's a right or wrong with parenting. It just all depends on the child
yeah.
and
And
how
how
you want to
they,
raise him.
yeah. And also how
So
they reply to you and just rely on you. I feel like he relies on me a lot.
yeah, he's dependent on you. And I think too, because you felt like for a while you couldn't depend on your parents for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm. I
You
try to
didn't
let
have,
him have a voice, and
yeah.
then sometimes it's hard because I couldn't have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like re like
You're
reach,
breaking
yeah,
those.
generational curses,
Mm-hmm.
and just like, oh, why do you have to be so opinionative? Like, why do you have to talk back? And like, I'll let him slam the door. Like, he gets upset, slam the door. Cool. Because you know what? We have these like high expectations for children.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like unrealistic. It's like, okay, when you get upset, sometimes you break shit. When you get
Mm-hmm.
upset, sometimes you punch a wall. When you get upset, you slam a door. So why do you have these expectations on a child that sometimes those are the examples he sees?
Yeah.
And it's just
I don't think
like,
I've ever punched a wall. I don't think I've ever punched. I broke
you
dishes
broke
before,
dishes.
but I've never punched a wall. I think that would hurt my hands. Um, yeah,
Or
I don't
like,
think I've ever punched a wall.
well, like you've slammed door, of
I've slammed
course.
the door here,
I
or
let him
there,
I let him
but
slide it with one time. Like, you got one time to slam a door. Now you do it a second time, like you calling for attention and maybe a chancla outside your head. Like,
now with every guest that I have, I tend to ask, what is your definition of success? So, what would be your definition of success?
my definition of success, let's see.
Anything that comes to your mind. Don't overthink it, because I know how you are.
Um,
Whether
it's
it's
just,
career wise, mother wise, in anything.
I feel like, well, at least like with you, like not career wise, but job wise, um, it's like doing something and then you like kind of see that like, oh shit, she did
It
it.
being
And yeah,
executed, yeah.
you know, um, that's like a success feeling, you
Hmm.
know. I guess when I had the business is just more, I mean, even now I do makeup here and there for some people, and just seeing the reactions, it just makes you feel like, a warmth and just like their confidence boosts and
So
stuff
your
like this.
definition for you for success is just the overall outcome,
Yeah, just like,
helping other people.
yeah. I feel like that's like what a love language too, is just
Yeah.
helping people and just seeing how they react to
Hmm.
that. Another one would be like, as a parent and just, you know, feeling that overwhelmness feeling all day. And at the end of the night just getting an I love you, you know, or I think one of the main ones was him saying I'm sorry to me because I tell him I'm sorry when I'm at wrong.
Mm.
Just like that example is like,
You're treating him like a little human as opposed to just a mother and
and
child.
it's hard for me to apologize in
Hmm.
general. Like, for me to come and apologize, like it took me a while to just, and still even now, like nobody likes to accept that they're wrong. Like, it's just like
Yeah, it's hard.
it's hard to accept, like, damn, I fucked up. Damn,
Yeah.
I was the one that was at wrong. I tripped for nothing,
Yeah.
It's hard to accept that. And just to hear, like, Abel, like, I'm sorry for acting the way I acted. Like, obviously he doesn't say it like that. He'll be like, I'm sorry for yelling or crying and
Yeah.
stuff.
So, again, are you going to be my assistant for the rest of my life?
Nah, I'm VP. We upgraded my title.
So,
You
yeah,
heard
we
it
had
here
to.
first.
Maybe we should put a poll out there, like put it on Instagram, and just like, what should be Desi's title, and
Desi's
then
title.
just give them the options and see how many will answer and see what we're gonna give you.
Been with you forever.
But this was an unexpected interview.
It was.
It was very unexpected, but I think it came out great. We just talk how we usually talk.
Yeah, this is how we normally talk
Yeah.
in the office on our crackhead hours, as we call it.
But it was good. So you guys got a little feel of what goes on behind closed doors in our office,
Mm-hmm.
and just put it out there. And this is the clean version because we tend to not be
Oh,
so clean.
be TMI. And I just tell her, be prepared because I'm about to be explicit.
Yeah, I'm sure she's gonna be back up for other episodes when people cancel on me. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. If you tuned in on podcast, if you tuned in on YouTube, thank you so much. But I just want you to remind you, please subscribe, please follow, please rate, please review. It's gonna help us tremendously, and I really do appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate your love and support, and until next time.